Asking for it. A novel approach. Episode 9. Chapter 33. Recalculating. Along A1A, the coast road, Lance is picking his way through the 100 miles of coastal communities separating him from Michaela. As town limits approach, he downshifts, rolls up his windows, and lets the AC do its work. A little shuffle through stoplights, then he punches the accelerator and upshifts out of town once more. Another stretch of serpentine cruising, the Panamera lively through it, bearing down on the next town. Lance revels in the drive, but he also senses that today's success depends upon a circumspect approach. Rushing in makes for mistakes, and rushing can look desperate as well. And he definitely does not want to appear desperate. Determined, passionate even, yes, but even your allies get spooked if you look too fervent. He got to bed directly from the airport yesterday. He woke early and refreshed, the sun barely up off the horizon as he finished his caffeine/citrus breakfast. The Panamera surfaced from his building's underground parking, a sleek land shark lunging into the day. He piloted it up a block or two of concrete canyon, the double wall of Miami Beach towers separating city from ocean, then out across the Rickenbacker Bridge to the causeway and up beyond the Bay of Biscayne, still largely empty of boat traffic. The ocean is a koan, its beauty and tranquility, ferocious majesty, nurture and cataclysm all defying resolution. The sublime soundtrack CD of Baghdad Cafe is interrupted. Lance curses the innovators of Bluetooth technology, takes a beat, and thumbs the answer button on his steering console. It's the edge. Something is up with Michaela. She isn't answering calls, hasn't gone by Dick's to collect her mail. Her friend, Brandi, hasn't even seen or heard from her. It's going on 72 hours since she failed to turn up for a coffee date. Basically, Michaela has disappeared. Lance is halfway up a canal road headed for the interstate before he's finished the call. Her number is still ringing over the Bluetooth when he reaches it. The Panamera surges to 90 miles an hour before reaching the bottom of the on-ramp. He doesn't stop passing cars until the exit for Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie, 20 minutes later. 2 days ago, Michaela was on a bus, and she was thinking, "Why do I feel like I'm living a bad dream? What the hell? Things are maybe just starting to happen for me. Is it me? Chemical imbalance? The old loose screw? Or is it all the sad and pervy people I'm entertaining? Mother is somewhere out there, up this road. But this is not a tummy ache, and she is not going to stroke my forehead and tell me everything will be all right. Obviously, she's not driving this damn bus any more than I am. Am I too far down the line? I gotta wake up. Take the wheel and leave this shit behind me. I need to wake up. At the very least, do some lucid dreaming." Her cell kept making noises where she tucked it into the net pocket on the seat back before her. It buzzed and it whooped. It bleeped and it whooped again a minute later. After a while, it would start bleeping and whooping all over again. How long would the battery sustain this chorus of electronic exclamations? The Department of Homeland Security has every cell phone in the country bugged. Maybe they can help. Direct her to that fabled destination, home. At the moment, it remains a painfully abstract concept. Home, where you know yourself, where the world has to knock before it comes in, where the shit never quite hits the fan. A satellite somewhere up beyond the sky is tracking her and her whooping beacon. Can it tell her if she's made a wrong turn? For a solid half hour, A Game Boy, somewhere nearby, has emitted its own suite of little digital pinball machine sounds. Now it clatters to the floor in the aisle and falls silent. Immediately, a howl of infant protest bursts forth and persists until some ad hoc repairs are effected and the little digital squeals and tritonal pulsings begin anew. Outside Michaela's window, it was blue, and then it was green. Now it is green and brown. The Atlantic blue left behind. Someone a few seats back begins reciting from the Bible in a dutiful, uninspired tone. Directly beneath her window, a big open convertible plows up the passing lane. In the front seat is a pair of women, easily 300-pounders. They laugh and tap big plastic Slurpee cups together. The passenger looks up and hikes her top to show her breasts. The driver seems to look straight at Michaela when she aims her cocked thumb and forefinger and fires. The pair laugh with heads thrown back. They high-five and take long drafts of their Slurpees while accelerating away up the passing lane into America. The next time Michaela looks, the vast rural landscape is breaking up, disheveled gray intervals in the great green-brown bosom of the South. They're like little parking lots littered with debris, the occasional wreck of a house, a half-rebuilt shack here and there, everything overrun by vegetation. Nobody around, no cars on the roads. She moves through a waking nightmare of waste. For miles, if it was made by men, it's been laid waste by nature. Delta country. The parishes. She overhears the term, and it comes to her as parishes. Must look like a graveyard from the air. The remains of Katrina, these, 4 or 5 years later. Perished church parishes. Stricken by nature, forsaken by FEMA, founded on faith only to founder on the rocks. So it goes. Her mother may or may not be up ahead. Drug-addled or man-crazy, her door may or may not be open. Ditto her heart. Could be there's no reasoning outside the world's most enduring case of postpartum depression. Michaela's headlong flight tilts suddenly to port, banks hard back 180 degrees. She wonders at her flighty trajectory. Is her destination better known elsewhere? To whom? Mother Nature is kicking humanity harder and more often than ever. Is Hurricane Michaela just now blowing herself out? Maybe she's not so out of step with the times after all. Lance feels anxiety like acid in the pit of his stomach. Coffee and grapefruit churn there. He'd planned to stop for brunch halfway up the coast. He brings the Panamera skidding to a halt just yards off the freeway. No clear course of action. The Porsche's dashboard array evokes the instruments in an aircraft cockpit. His heart is pounding. He can feel his oxygen thinning. It's his time of useful consciousness. TUC. TUC. Time remaining for emergency maneuvers before you pass out from oxygen deprivation. When your cabin pressure is compromised. A commercial airline pilot he'd met once told him about it. Is he going down now? It was just some flight-delayed conversation in the business class lounge at LAX, maybe 10 years back. But the expression distresses him now as he plummets towards some catastrophic impact. His own cabin pressure has dissipated, his time of useful consciousness running out fast. He needs to pull out of this emotional tailspin before he crashes and burns. He'll go by her place. But to what purpose? The Edge said he'd found the doors locked, curtains open around back, but nothing unusual to see within. Maybe a neighbor to speak with? There are too many canals around here. Panamera can't find a quick route back into Michaela's place. Lance shrieks at the GPS girl and her constant recalculating. He shuts her off and swings down the coast road again. 5 minutes later, he makes the familiar turn in for Michaela's rental on Fort Pierce's ragged edge. Parking out front of her unit, he shuts off the ignition, closes his eyes, and takes a deep breath. She'll turn up. Has to. And when she does, he'll need to have his shit together. Lance sees her again for the first time. Her mischievous eyes swept by the big mahogany locks, the curl of her lips on the verge of a smile. His memory edits out the sucker punches, the nasty jibes, the fact it was merely her video image. Again, he feels the novel attraction of her playful cruelty, cruel playfulness. Anxiety is building again. He's failing to navigate desire's trajectory. Chapter 34. The Edge still gives lessons at Abs and Jabs from time to time. Occasionally he'll lock up for Leonora if it's late at night. From the day he'd arrived in town, they've continued affectionately washing each other's backs. He won't let her pay the outrageous fees the import's auto dealer would charge her to service the 1966 Volvo sedan she's driven for probably as many years. There isn't much he can't figure out on that old tank. So the Edge takes care of it. Leonora has left his cot set up in the corner of the little room in back, though it gets scant use these days. The Edge needs the gym today, though. Needs it to work out some of his worries, but he can't bring himself to go. To lose himself in a workout would not be easy, and would do him no lasting good in any case. He hasn't earned that out. When the pain is real enough, you know it. When his face hit the canvas for his first and final loss as a professional fighter, he knew he'd earned his out. Michaela's disappearance has made things awfully plain. He depends upon her too much to make light of it. He's not super worried about her. He's confident she's all right. She has the strength and self-regard to deal with whatever life is throwing at her. Lance, by contrast, is not convinced of this. He genuinely believes Michaela needs his help. Maybe, maybe not, thinks the Edge. It's no one's business but their own. The Edge walks towards Abs and Jabs despite himself. He realizes it's because Leonora can console him. More than any workout could do, she can talk some tranquility into him. So he follows his emotional radar, maybe his intuition even, and arrives at the club Hank Shivlets dreamed of. Just as the daughter Shivlets opens the door onto the sidewalk before him. The look on his face must give him away. "Oh, Tiger, what's wrong? You look terrible." "Nah, just a few occupational hazards." "Oh, bullshit. Come on in here, you. I got something'll cheer you up." They conclude a hug on the threshold. Then Leonora steers him in past the ring where her father fought and won his last battle. "Come on, little surprise for you." She has mixed feelings about what she's steering the Edge toward. At the door to the back room she pauses, leaves him to look in, beyond her. She observes his lingering, silent stillness. She came in here pretty early, no gear with her. Said she'd just gotten back from Baton Rouge. Cross-trained up a good sweat and started hitting the bags real hard. This is unexpected. The Edge squints a little, a desert traveler trying to distinguish mirage from an actual oasis. He's speechless for another moment. "She okay? Want to check and see for yourself?" Leonora's expression says she thinks he should. "She started looking pretty ragged. street clothes soaked through, losing her balance some. So I told her to take a rest. We could talk. The rumpled and snoring form of Michaela on that cot has the edge obviously short on composure. Leonora looks him over. Maybe it's the time, maybe not. But indulge me. Aren't you about ready to declare a little something, Tiger? He returns her look and smiles a little sadly. I'm just glad she's here. She went a little AWOL, 2 or 3 days, no warning, no one with a clue where she was. He takes out his cell and searches his contacts. Leonora huffs impatiently. You young people and your cell phones. He turns his slightly craggy 40-year-old countenance away from the phone and takes in Leonora's officially concerned expression. He cracks first, and it feels so very good to have that little laugh. He takes a step back from the threshold and pockets the phone, still watching the sleeping form of Michaela. I need to call her agent. Who? Slick with the wide, pearly smile? Hell no. That one ain't ever gonna declare. He'll just string her along until she gives him some. Leonora, he's her agent, and I'm her trainer, and we're all grown-ups. Like hell, you're acting like her plaything, and I ain't talking about that stupid shit you've been up to over there in Pierce. Don't even try to deny it. Messed up rumors fly the fastest. And look at your damn face, Tiger. She cups his chin gently in her hand and searches his eyes. Smiling, sheepish, he shakes his head and backs well off from the doorway. Let's let her sleep it off. Leonora, I knew you could buck me up, but this is just great. Yeah, all right, Mr. Just Great. There's coffee on. I want you to come into my office and explain just what the hell you and this agent friend of yours are cooking up with Sleeping Beauty in there. At that moment, the standard, almost retro bleedy-bleedy-bleep of his phone sounds, and the Edge checks the display with an apologetic shrug. Lance Abiarti. Chapter 35. Lance has the Panamera back in gear before the Edge finishes imparting the good news. He works the paddle shifters hard. 3 times the engine growls up toward redline. The scraggly palms flash past in a blur. At the coast road, he blows through the stop sign, turning south. There's some sand washed up over the tarmac, enough to challenge the Porsche's traction control. He's put it sideways, drifting the car into the oncoming lane before he can straighten it out. Senseless and reckless, especially since the urgency is obviously already over. Minutes later, he enters Port St. Lucie's business district, spots the gym, fights the urge to double park, and runs in. Michaela feels her gelatinous slumber shaken by familiar voices. The voices come closer, and her sticky cocoon melts away. Lance Abiarti is fussing with something nearby, pouring a glass of water from a pitcher. The Edge stands back a little, a relieved look on his face, watching Lance's ministering angel act. It is all too much, too fast, too saccharine for her to digest. Then she realizes where she is, registers the sticky cling of her rumpled clothing, and she groans mightily. Oh, no. Hell no. Happy to see you and all that, but you gotta back up the fuck out of here, okay? Jesus. I feel like shit already, and y'all ain't helping any. Now go. Shoo, get. Chapter 36. Brandi looks him over for a full second or two before ushering Dick into her place. He's wearing a new pair of jeans, decent shoes, and a pink Ralph Lauren polo with a gray stripe in it. It's almost midnight. A pay-a-day issue, he had said on the phone. Okay, what's the issue, Dick? And this had better be good. He sits there with a bit of a... Wait, can it be? Is that actually a friggin' smirk on his underloved, undernourished, under whatever face? He actually looks pretty pleased with himself. Oh, it's good, all right. Can I ask you something, Brandi? Have you been working overtime? Brandi isn't wondering just what good means. He's expressed an opinion, unbidden. She's not sure she likes this newly assertive tone. He asked her something, didn't wait for her answer, and then asked her something else. That's new, and suspicious, too. What is so good? It's midnight, Dick, and I am not working overtime. What the fuck is this issue? Okay, I'm sorry. They say your account is over. It's over that 15K limit they use. And you need to withdraw your cash more regularly, or they'll have to upgrade your account and you'll be paying double the fees. Double the fees? What the fuck are you talking about? I took out $15,000 at 5 o'clock today. 5 o'clock, huh? Not doing marathon chats with multiple parties by any chance? Not, blogging on the side someplace? Brandi looks at Dick like he's a challenged child attempting something woefully beyond him. Well, I'm just here to tell you, you're making too much money for your puny pay-a-day standard provider account. Where there was $15,000 withdrawn at 5 o'clock, there is now a little over 15,000 new dollars. Let's just say your claims to personal, quote, use will definitely be coming under review. She looks Dick over. In her feet, a little tremble has begun. Suddenly she breaks out into a frenzied, shuffle-tapping victory dance. Her patter-hopping feet propel her around the room, ending with her giving Dick an unexpected micro-hug. He looks on with pleasure as she backs away again, hips swinging, arms up over her head, fingers feathering the air. She relaxes with a sigh and looks into his eyes. It's a strange look. Fleeting, but what? Affectionate, maybe? Something else is there, barely discernible. Her huge smile becomes a sloppy, happy guffaw. With a squeak of suppressed glee, she performs a final celebration pirouette and topples onto the couch. She lands in a nonchalant sprawl. Her midriff is on display where her yellow designer tee has come untucked. I made 30 grand today. For real. I don't know. The night is young. It could be more. I think you'll need to look into offshore banking, Brandi. All I've done in the last couple days is post a couple of those fake personal video replies. Now there's a filth beneath me reply, and little dick one, as well as the old slave application. Brandi neglects to riff on the little dick theme, doesn't so much as arch an eyebrow, and that is not like her. You had a regular river of fans tribute today. If you could talk real time with all these guys, you'd be a millionaire, Brandi. They pause for a few seconds. Both are struck by the fact that they're having a normal conversation. For Brandi, it's odd not having any ready insult or abuse for him. He is kind of making her rich, after all. Not really, but it's elating to even think of those terms. She looks at Dick and sees a not unhandsome guy, square jaw and dark brown eyes. She realizes she doesn't really know anything about him. Though he's skinny, he's actually pretty tall, big hands and feet. She checks him out for a second longer before he is aware of it. The rose shades on a pair of floor lamps give the whole of Brandi's living room a hot pink tint. Dick notes that the couch and long-haired white rug now float in a sea of lava before him. Despite the AC, Dick is feeling some heat, and Brandi just keeps beaming like a jewel in the midst of all that glowing pink element. Chapter 37. That's what it is. They're all pawing at her. First it was Dick with his overtures of adult entertainment opportunity. Lance picked up where Dick left off. A little less obvious maybe, but still definitely on the make. Her mother would say she's lucky. Should be grateful for all the attention. Then there's Teddy implying she knows better than her just what she needs. But Michaela doesn't feel lucky. Nobody asks her what she wants. Maybe there are coinciding interests. She kinda does enjoy pummeling the Edge. He probably wouldn't encourage her if she didn't. Her gut tells her that much. Their sessions would have ended a long time ago if she didn't get such a kick out of it. But now she feels under siege somehow. Everybody wants a piece of her. Lance and the Edge had scuttled back out of the door like a pair of errant schoolboys. Michaela can't help it. She might be losing her mind, but they look exactly like a pair of little boys sometimes. Boys eager not to anger Mama when there could be cookies on the line, or like they need her to sign off on something infinitely important to them. Wait, there, hold up a second. The guys turn, halfway out the little room's door. Michaela is up off the cot and stands, hands on hips, looking over at them with a quizzical expression. She has a decidedly low-rent look about her. A garish pink hairband keeps her frazzled locks back from her slightly bloated and sleep-creased face. Her frumpy ensemble of camouflage sweatpants and a half-buttoned stretchy blouse scream trailer trash. She takes a deep breath and looks down. Her graying orange slouch socks feel glued to her feet. She badly needs to clean up. But even more, she needs to get something straight and right now. Help me out here, 'cause I've got a little rapid calculation to do. Scale of 1 to 10. How much would you like to be somewhere else right now? The men look at each other fleetingly before answering identically 0. This breaks some intangible ice, which neither had been altogether aware of, and they laugh. Really? Scale of 1 to 10. How much would you like to spend more time right here? In present company, I mean. Lance looks to the Edge with amusement creasing the corners of his eyes, the corners of his mouth. The Edge returns the look before they turn in unison to reply, 11. Huh. I guess that's good then, 'cause I gotta tell you 2 things. Y'all are very sweet, and handsome guys even, but all the attention is wearing me out. She pauses. Lance shifts his weight almost imperceptibly from one foot to the other. The Edge steals a glance over his shoulder toward Leonora's office. So it's just occurred to me, it'd be nice if you could, stop vying for my affection all the time. Really, what is it you 2 want from me? I pound on you any harder, Edgy, and I'll wind up in jail. Lance, I assume you can see I'm not the bimbo type. But I'm not sure what else guys like you look for in girls like me. And you are looking for something. You aren't asking for it, but you're looking. She pauses again. The 2 men are silent, expectant. Leonora comes down from her office to join them. She waits a moment for the conversation to continue. The men acknowledge her with idiot smiles in the awkwardly extending silence. She shakes her head and looks to Michaela. You all right then, honey? Hands still on her hips, Michaela mm-hms a little distractedly. Good, 'cause you're looking a little crazy. And your membership's overdue 2 months, just so you know. Michaela looks to Lance, to the Edge. She looks to the ceiling, crosses her arms over her bosom and waits. Leonora ignores the little pantomime, looks them all over for another second or two, and strides off back up to her office. Michaela draws in a breath for effect, then continues. Look, you're all like a pair of sponges can't get enough of Michaela. Michaela the kick-ass hottie. Michaela should be on the silver screen. Michaela this and that. Look, you're both just a little too much, you know? Losing your minds over Michaela. Feeding my ego all the time like this must be like a full-time job. She pauses to make sure this is sinking in. See where I'm going with all this? If y'all can't treat me like a normal human being, if you're gonna go all goofy, falling all over yourselves, doing for me all the time, let's just call it a tie, shall we? You can both just chill, all right? If I'm all that, there should be plenty here for the both of you. The men's smiles have frozen, and the Edge seems to be trying very quietly to clear his throat. Of course, if you need time to think it over, maybe it's not such a... Oh, no, I mean, I think... Lance breaks off long enough to catch the Edge's attention. The fighter shrugs, makes a be my guest gesture. Well, I think you're right. I mean, I never quite get my mind around what it would mean to ask you out if I'd... Oh, no, don't even go there. It's way too late for that. More fucked up compliments I don't need. What about you, Edgy? Your usual silent self-neglect? I'm flattered, really. Jesus, can't believe I was halfway across this goddamn country running away from a pair of pussies like you two. I actually set out thinking I'd track down my mother before she ends up cooking meth in some hole in the wall out west. Yep, that's the kind of stock your goddess comes from. But we don't talk about shit like that, do we? How's it going today, Kayla? How's your crazy mother? But that's okay. We don't need to. It's this Michaela can do no wrong shit all the time that makes me worry. God, can't believe I'm getting all this out without coffee or a beer, or a shower and a change even. I really must be some kind of superior being. They all share a tension-relieving chuckle at this. Michaela looks around to find her shoes and canvas shoulder bag. Anyway, what else? Let's see. Oh, no sex, of course. I know neither of you would presume something that normal, but just so as we're all clear, right? Okay, then, we all good with our little ménage à trois here? 'Cause I really do need that shower and some coffee. Good. Dismissed. Speak among yourselves. I'm out of here.